Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Inside Career Technical Education. Today, we're going to bring you another great success story of a YTI Career Institute graduate. So, before we do that, let me introduce myself. I'm Ann Baldwin.
And I'm Jim Beloger, President and CEO of YTI Career Institute.
Good to see you today, Jim.
The same here, yeah.
All right, everybody's nice and bright and cheery, but the snow's going to fall before we know it. But anyway, I know we shouldn't even talk about that. But we're really excited to have John Amos on our program today, and he's another one of those YTI Career Institute success stories, as I just mentioned. He went to YTI Career Institute in York, you know it well, the York, Pennsylvania campus, and got his associate's degree as a computer systems specialist and attended right out of high school. So, John, welcome to the program.
Well, thank you for having me.
Why don't you start by telling us, we're a lot of kids back to school recently.
Right.
And, that big decision, that big pressure that a lot of kids, whether you're sophomore, junior, senior, what are you going to do next? What are your plans? What was your thought process, and how did you end up at a technical school like YTI?
So overall, I was constantly debating if I wanted to go to a 4-year school or do a 2-year technical school. Overall, after doing a little bit of research, I discovered YTI online. And since it was more in the technical related field, I was more intrigued to go to that instead of taking gen eds through a 4-year degree. I would rather get right into the field, hands-on experience with a 2-year degree. So that's why I ended up deciding on YTI, just due to the instantaneous of going into the field and getting hands-on experience.
I mean, it's really good. It's a great point. Thanks for sharing that with us, John, and our viewers. And I think a lot of students and their families and their other support members of their buying decision, if you will, or their investment decision for higher ed, go through that process. Can I find a relatively short, relatively lower cost than a traditional 4-year school as well, especially in this day and age. And I think one of the really nice things about our program is that the programs are structured to get students in and out. And right now, John's program is 20 months. When he attended, I believe the program was 21 months, so we've shortened it by another month. But I think a lot of viewers looking at John's story, I hope it really resonates with folks, because again, this is just the beginning, in my opinion, for John, in terms of coming out of school, getting the education that you need, and doing it in our industry modeled, hands-on, lab environments, and then getting into the workforce.
Right, and not having that huge debt. So, John, talk a little bit about that. What did your education look like? You talked about you're more of a hands-on learner, so that was part of it. But what exactly did you experience? How long did it take you? And what was the end result?
So overall, in the classes, there was many different items that we learned about and I experienced, that went from just basic troubleshooting of how computer systems work all the way to kind of advanced configurations. Coming in, I had more of a base knowledge of how things work, and due to the classes, they allowed to do not only hands-on labs, but also simulations in the online world of how to tackle specific problems. And with that, it allowed me to learn about it and continue enhancing my knowledge on the systems, and that allowed me to implement it in the real world and continue moving forward.
Wow.
It's amazing. And, you talk about some of the online components of so many of the programs that YTI Career Institute offers. And that offers also, doesn't it, flexibility. Talk about that a little bit, because I know there's some folks that, with classroom learning, maybe you don't catch something, you can't really go back and rewind the tape because there isn't one. And some people have to work, some people have families, whatever your situation is. Did you find that the flexibility in the program that you participated in was also a plus?
Yes, definitely. They allowed for morning classes, nightly classes, and I know now that they are offering the all online courses as well through YTI, which is definitely a plus, because they definitely tend to your schedule and allow you to take the classes when it best suits you.
Yeah.
So definitely that's a big plus.
Yeah, no, it's good. It's good to hear. And one of the things that we've also done, Ann and John, is we've recently also opened up a continuing ed website. So, John, I would really be interested in your observations. It's ce.porterchester.edu. But just as a quick aside, I would love to see and hear from you as to what you think of that website, because again, there's a lot of technology-focused programs on there to help our graduates continue their educational path.
So let's talk a little bit about where did you go after graduation? Where are you today?
So where I am today is completely different from where I originally went when I graduated.
Mm-hmm.
Part of the program is they allowed you to do a externship, which is technically an internship, to graduate the program. I started off at a local school district as an intern, just a tier 1 help desk type of person. From there, I advanced into the local government world and help desk, and then moved my way up into the system administration role there. From there, and where I am now is I'm actually in a one of the intermediate units in York County or Adams County. We oversee Adams, York, and Franklin County districts, and we allow for kind of support through our programs. But overall, what I'm doing is I'm a systems administrator. I oversee many complex systems, and it allows me to constantly be learning in this field, learning new technologies, configurations, things of that sort. And honestly, I couldn't be in the position I am today without YTI's education and training. And it definitely gives me a plus, because where I am today, I wouldn't be here if I took a 4-year degree, because I would just be coming out of school and I would be starting my journey less than a year ago, versus where I am now. I'm almost 4 to 5 years in the field just because of the time frame and the hands-on experience YTI.
Can I just tell you something? So we're speaking with John Amos, who is a YTI graduate, got his associates in computer systems as a computer systems specialist here. So we just heard John where he started, where he did his externship, where he's worked, and where he's at today, right? Guess how old this kid is? I'm going to call him a kid. 23 years old.
Yeah.
And look where you're at. First of all, congratulations. I mean, that doesn't come with just a degree, right? That comes with hard work and dedication. But to your point, if you're out of a 4-year degree, it doesn't always end that way. And not that there's anything wrong with the 4-year degree.
Yeah.
We're not saying that. But what we are saying is consider your options.
No, absolutely. I think that's one of the things that prospective students are doing today, and their families are doing, is saying, what level of education do I need to get into a field? And then if I apply myself, it's not to say that I don't need additional education down the road, but can I get a fairly long sort of path out of this right out of school? And again, I mean, I think John's story is a testament to the fact that you come to school for basically less than 2 years, and then you're in the field working. And from the sounds of it, John, I mean, obviously you've worked pretty hard and you've been pretty smart about it. And now you're moving up into higher level IT support, and it's really great to hear your story, because again, I think it provides a lot of hope and inspiration for students out there who might be considering going into the IT world, knowing that my guess, if I were to ask you this question, you would say the school was really great from a foundational level, and it helped you really come out of school with really solid basic skills. But along the way, you've been reading and learning and doing, and all of that has sort of built on that foundation for you. So for our viewers, again, the education for you hasn't really stopped. You've had real world on the job training, which it sounds like you've really embraced.
And there's challenges. Let's talk about that, right? Let's talk about some of the challenges of this program. And there are so many different technical career programs. We want to mention yti.edu if you want to check those out. But I'm assuming it was pretty hard work.
Yes, definitely. So as we all can imagine, school is not something that comes easy for a lot of individuals, especially, like, I'll use myself for an example. I've never been a school type of person, so coming into YTI, I really didn't know what to expect going into a tech school. But with this, it was a lot of hands-on items, not a whole. There was obviously book readings and things of that sort. But the best thing I can say is you get what you put into it. So if you're going into this program or any program within YTI and you put in the effort and you want to succeed in the field you're studying in, if you put in all the effort, put in the work, and study, you will get what you put into it. But there's no such thing as an easy degree. This program, or the AIME program at YTI, is not super simple. You have to put in the work for it, and honestly, you're going to have some difficulties. You're going to have a long night sometimes studying, but it's all worth it in the end, because if you put into it what you want, you will get the degree you deserve and possibly the job position that you've been dreaming of.
Wow. How many times have we heard that?
Yeah, no, it's great advice for our viewers and our listeners. And again, we're committed to student success, just like John's. And again, I mean, education, at least I believe this is a 50-50 partnership between the student and the and the faculty. At our school, and I'm sure, John, there were times where you read material and just didn't understand it, and you reached out to a faculty member, and they helped you have that aha moment where you learned. They were able to contextualize it for you, maybe in a different way, present the material a different way to you, that you were able to sort of then really sort of better understand it and internalize it.
Yeah, definitely the staff and faculty members within YTI are definitely beneficial to every student that's attending there. They're always more than willing to help with any questions you have, and if they don't have the answer, they'll definitely provide you resources or even provide you a good point of contact to get you the information you need. So the staff and faculty there are fantastic.
Well, that's great. And, you've really passed along some great information, and we know you're at work today onboarding a new employee and working with school systems, as you can imagine. So many things that can go wrong, and there you are at the top of the hill there helping these folks through that. So, John Amos, we just want to thank you very much for sharing your story and really giving us a reality check of what this program is all about. And we want to encourage folks, again, Jim, go to yti.edu. When do classes start again?
October 24th. So I would encourage anybody listening or viewing this podcast to get started quickly. Don't procrastinate.
That's right.
And again, yti.edu, the information, we do have a lot of information on the website. If you have questions, you're more than welcome to communicate with us either via the phone, a Zoom meeting, text, email. And as John had mentioned, he's obviously stayed close to the school. The program now is 100% online. There still is a fair amount of what I'd call hands-on learning through simulation. And John mentioned that that was probably some of the more beneficial learning that he actually had even when he was on ground. So again, we try to make these programs really very marketplace relevant, so that when when our students leave the school and go into the employment world and join the workforce, that they are spot on in terms of having a great foundation for future success.
Ready for work. All right, John, we'll let you get back to work. Thank you for joining us.
Well, thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
It was a great story. Continued success to you. So on behalf of myself, Ann Baldwin,
and Jim Beloga,
again, go to yti.edu. We want to thank you for tuning in to this edition of Inside Career Technical Education.